So we're going to be looking at music for film and TV production. Hello viewer, my name is Stu, and if you're not familiar with this video series, I recommend you go to my guitar channel playlist and then start at video number 1, which covers my journey back to playing guitar after a 40-year hiatus, and I cover all kinds of guitars, amplifiers, pedals and lots more. And I'm also continuing my recording journey, and so do check out that channel. And please do subscribe to get notifications, hit the like and so on, because it helps the algorithms for the channel. So, this Q&A playlist, it's an answer to the many comments I've received both in the comment section and privately. Thank you very much. And if you want to send me a private email, you can do so at stuguitarchannel@gmail.com. In the previous Q&A video, we looked at music gear as an investment, and this week I'm going to cover the question asked, music production for film, video, TV and other forms of multimedia.
In a world where time forgot, where man is insignificant, and the whole run of things, is that the kind of thing we're looking for here?
The war has been raging for 3 years, and by June 1917, the might of German U-boat activity has intensified greatly.
So of course, having worked in the film, video, multimedia production industry for decades, we would regularly mix music, sound effects and voiceovers to fit up a given project. And I have of course been involved in music production and sound design for a whole range of productions, from feature film through to sound design used in multimedia graphics. Now I'm very sorry to say for all the guitar players out there, but the world of digital technology has very much changed the video production industry and how it receives music for various projects. For example, this lovely guitar piece, which was used for a model railway documentary, was in fact produced on a digital keyboard. And that was utilising a guitar library sound effect on the keyboard. Sacrilege, I hear all you guitar lovers cry. But for the hard-pressed production companies who often they just have to work to very tight budgets, they just don't have any choice in the matter. A couple of folks asked me in the comments about a film for cinema that we produced, so I'll give a little insight into that. And we'll also have a chat with the composer that I worked with. In another product for television, we'll look at a very different approach, and for TV commercials and exhibition promo films, there is yet even another approach that production companies employ. So let's start with the feature film. The Daniel Connection, a 90-minute dystopian thriller based on ancient prophecies recorded in various books and letters of the Judeo-Christian Bible.
These prophecies again. Ever since I heard about them, I've had nothing but trouble. My best friend has died. My life's been turned upside down, and there are people out there talking about alien visitations, DNA manipulation, fallen angels, Armageddon. Don't you think it all sounds just a little bit nuts?
No. There are 100 prophecies that seem to have already come to pass. This could be seen as a warning to this generation that the end of the world is coming, as we know it.
But it hasn't happened yet. I mean, look at the Mayan calendar. How many people believed that was going to be the end of the world? You sound just like Susan.
Look, freak weather patterns, an increase in natural disasters, earthquakes, ethnic wars, a crashing economy, people becoming spiritually deluded, allowing a great man of peace to step onto the world stage, the Antichrist.
And what about the alien visitors? I suppose they've been foretold as well, right?
According to sources, they've already come. but they're not a friend, Stanley. Hungry.
In a video coming up, I'm going to be looking at both music and spirituality, as well as what inspires you to write music or to play music. So do join in on that. So many conversations could be had on those topics. So the theme track for that film required an ominous flavour, but needed to be able to adapt to a given scene, and particularly where there was a lot of movement within the scene, such as a car chase. Now, before we have a listen to what the composer Don Gawthorne had to say about developing the theme tracks for this, let me give you a brief overview of how I, as a director of photography, see things from both the visual element and the accompanying soundtrack. Camera motion is often used to convey a moment, a feeling, an emotion, a question, space, depth, or indeed movement. And on top of that, locations are also chosen to convey emotion or to help place the story. Now, in this part of the film, space was allowed to create a long sequence of images to help build tension, and it was important for the film to be moving most of the time, or at least elements within the film would need to be on the move, such as the steel doors opening and closing at the lift here. Now, the composer was given a copy of the rough cut sequence, which he would then play back on his Apple laptop as he began to compose music themes to fit the scenes. Here's Don.
To write the music was I was first given clips of the film as it was being made by the director, and he would send me certain scenes which he'd completed, and the first ones he completed were the action scenes. So that was great, obviously, because that was where the real drama and tension was. The first stage was that I went back to the prophecies that the film was going to be about, and I read the book of Daniel. I read it several times. That's in the Old Testament, and then I went to the New Testament and I read the book of Revelation, and I was looking at the kinds of music that were played in both these books and the kinds of instruments. The piano piece which opens the film, that piece is called Weighed and Found Wanting. And when I was reading the book of Daniel, I wanted to find themes in the book of Daniel which were also major themes that you find in prophecy as a whole. And one of those themes was this topic of being measured. I got involved with the film after I saw the Daniel Project. Daniel Project is a documentary made by Studio Scotland. I've got an interest in Bible prophecy. The production team got to hear some of my music and they thought it would be appropriate for the next project that they were working on. I was given a role. I was a prisoner. I was dressed up in an orange jumpsuit. I was huddled together with a lot of other people behind bars. As the day wore on, as we got colder, because it was in November, as we got more hungry, suddenly you started to think, well, I'm not enjoying this very much. I'd quite like to sit down, but we couldn't sit down because it was all concrete floors and very cold. The thought flashes through your mind, well, actually, the experience of playing a prisoner and being cold and hungry for at least part of the day did bring home to me the fact that there's a reality behind the themes of this film. This could really happen in this country, that people could be put behind bars because of their conscience, because of their faith. And so that the thought of that did help me in writing the music.
Well, over the years I got to know a number of music composers who would build a catalogue of their own music themes, and that would be made available for hire as royalty-free use. And that's, if you will, that's the nuts and bolts approach to corporate video production, where budgets are very tight. But again, these themes, they can be manipulated and altered in various ways, thereby expanding their use in a given project. So when it comes to the smaller production studios, as already mentioned, budgetary constraints raise all kinds of challenges. As producers, you rarely get anyone giving you an unlimited budget to do what you'd like to do, and also get the chance to work with other professionals so that you can collaborate and create something that everybody can be proud of. Now, although it must be said, necessity is also the mother of invention. And having a big budget doesn't always equate to having a good final result. So for those contemplating supplying music beds or themes to the multimedia production industry, here are a couple of short clips for you from old projects that I can demonstrate, which is fairly common stuff. Now, this promotional film for a wine grower, a distributor in France, required a number of suitable themes. And for this, in this case, we purchased royalty-free license clips, but we also brought in a composer, but I'm not able to show you that clip because of the licensing involved. But here's the clip.
L'exposition à Ruta, c'est vraiment exceptionnel par rapport à son orientation sud, le soleil qui frappe, le terroir, vraiment c'est une qualité.
Here we have an example of a TV commercial that required a driving guitar riff coupled with a fast-paced voiceover, and again we purchased a license for a royalty-free track for this. Here's the clip.
Choose the gear, we set the pace. They're fast, they're furious, and they'll give you the thrill of your life. Driving gift vouchers from Knock Hill Racing Circuit. We have Christmas all revved up.
Now, for this documentary on dinosaurs, we were able to work with a composer who looked at the graphics that we were using, and they followed a theme in line with the popular feature film series Jurassic Park. And within this clip, you'll hear sound effects blended in with the theme music to create the atmosphere required for this particular production. Now, of course, there are dozens upon dozens of examples that I could demonstrate that we've produced over the last 30 odd years, covering so many different ways that music is used in so many products. And there are many ways of going about creating or licensing soundtracks, but that was just a wee example for you. For those of you out there who are wanting to create your own music library, or perhaps you've already got one, and you're finding it difficult to break into the film TV industry, what can I say to maybe give some advice? Well, I'm afraid there have been so many changes in how business is done in the last 10 years, this being 2023, and how technologies are being used and how copyright management has become, in some cases, very blurred. And that's a whole other topic altogether. Now, as a film video production studio director, my advice is quite simple. Do your homework. Is there or will there be a demand for what you're doing, your product? If there is, will it pay you well enough for the amount of work that it's going to take you, the amount of time, effort and energy you're going to have to put into this? Is it going to pay you? Now, if the answer is yes, then get yourself out there, make contacts, everyone you meet, treat well, be courteous, and when you send emails, letters or resumes to companies or professionals, be respectful. I'm sorry to say, but I've had quite a number of individuals who've been quite disrespectful, generally arrogant youngsters who contact the company. They've done this over the years, thinking that the world owes them a living. It doesn't. And while without doubt the film TV industry can be an unpleasant environment to work in, there are individuals with big egos and selfish agendas, and I would say this: always seek to have humility and integrity. Yes, you're going to get people who will try to use you, but you will also meet some lovely people who are great to work with, and we certainly have over many years. So I hope that proved to be helpful. Do comment below and let others know of your experiences if you supply music for the film, video, TV industry. In the next video, we're going to be taking a look at a number of Fender Stratocaster guitars that we have in the studio. Do they sound different from one another? Well, we'll soon find out. And please do subscribe to get notified, ring the bell, and so on. It really helps the channel out. And please do share your own experiences below, whether a newcomer, an ongoing player, or like me, an old hand returning to guitar playing. And for those that want to chat, well, I always take time to engage with folks who take time to comment. So do feel free to make a comment below. Until next time, the journey continues. Do take care.